Welcome to the Doorslammers 2019, the epic street-style drag racing event here at SantaPod. The prize fund this weekend is £80,000 and we have 200 cars on site, all competing in this exciting dash for the cash. Last year's Pro Doorslammer was won by FIA Pro Mod racer Jimmy Alund. For this year, 8 of Europe's best 8-mile top Doorslammer cars have come over to race on the quarter mile for the £10,000 winner's check in VP Racing Fuel's Pro Doorslammer.
Oh yeah, all of them can. I mean, they got, 1,000 horsepower more than what we have and less weight to carry around. So, and some of them are really good racers. I mean, Matthias was running fast here last year, so he's no surprise. And you got a few of the other cars that's going to be really fast too. So it's their kind of a event, so to speak. We were happy to win it last year. And let's see what's happening this year. We got Summit on the doors on the Camaro for this season as well. And that's a big step forward for us.
And this is Sweden's Mattias Volkan with his insanely quick top Doorslammer car. He took the event by storm last year, but what's he got in store for us in 2019?
Now we have our own engine that we build in the USA, that my crew chief and the team has designed. So we took that home from the US and we have put one more gear into the car. So we hope that it's gonna be good for us this weekend.
Unlike traditional race events, drivers just need to put in a full pass to be entered into the elimination draw. And this run during Friday's opening qualifying shows Matthias means business this weekend. Sweden's Caroline Strand was also making her SantaPod debut with her stunning 8th-mile top Doorslammer Corvette. It's quite a handful.
Well, the track is quite cold, and we went out on a very safe setup. And I had it was running good the first bit, and then I got some tire shakes, and I had to let off after about half the track. So.
Another outlaw top Doorslammer now. Len Lindahl's Barracuda started strong, but clouds of smoke at the top end suggest engine damage for the team from Sweden. And top Pro Mod racer David Vegter totally destroyed his engine during his first burnout of the weekend. A welcome return to the track for fan favourite Freddie Fagerstrom after a major fire destroyed his workshop during the winter. But shut the doors next time, Freddie. You gotta love him. Andy Wright Jr. from the UK is driving the wild-looking flamed hot rod this weekend.
Yeah, it was a bit sideways. We got the tune up a little bit wrong with the clutch, so the clutch came in a bit hard and shook the tyres, and then when I realised where I was, it was a bit late.
Pro Mod is one class where pretty much anything goes in terms of what you make your cars look like. You've obviously got a reason why you've gone for the hot rod look.
Yeah, well, everyone seems to go for Camaros and stuff like that. We like to be different, so that's why we chose this car. No one else. Well, there is one other one, but we're out there on our own, really.
Now, it's not that long since you first stepped into the hot seat in this car. You're obviously enjoying it. Yeah, it's good fun. It's a bit of an experience, a bit of a steep learning curve, because I hadn't really driven anything else before we got in this, but wouldn't do it any other way, to be fair.
Last year's winner, Jimmy Alund, entered 2 cars for the event. The Pro Stock Summit Racing Chevy had problems after the burnout on this run. And the old 51 Pro Mod only managed to put in 1 qualifying pass on the Friday. But this early in the season, any track time is valuable for the team from Sweden.
Well, it's going to be tough if I meet myself in the final, ain't it? No, seriously, we just want to test a little bit with the Pro Stocker as well. So, and Magnus haven't had the 51 out yet this year, so we're actually going to test both cars. And, if the race goes well, it goes well.
And throughout the day, the VP Racing Fuel's Pro Doorslammer cars were experimenting with power and suspension setups, trying to find that sweet spot that puts maximum power down without losing traction. Looks like too much power too soon on this pass though, from Michael Nord. We have 6 heads-up classes this weekend and 1 dial-in bracket class. The Turbo Technics Pro Street class is for 100% street legal cars, and one of the favourites must be the ugly sister 56 Chevy of Andy Bond. Designed to look like a junkyard dog, but in reality it's a very slick, very powerful monster that no one will want to meet on the track.
It is, it's a twin rail tube chassis car, built for street eliminator, but it really is a street car. I use it quite a lot. I pop in and out of town with it. As much chance as I can get to drive it, I do. So, but it is predominantly a race car in street car trim, mechanically and bodily. The car's based around about 2,400 horsepower. So we feel that we can use that much horsepower. Any more than that, I think, is wasted. So it's hard work to get it on the road, on the track. Yeah, it's just great fun trying to get that much power down on the floor. So
Mark Todd's debuting his new Pro Street car at the Doorslammers, the definitely non-stock 6-appeal Aston Martin.
It's got a big block Chevrolet, which is based on an aftermarket new Century block, all aluminium, 568 cubic inch, with a single turbo. The horsepower, it's got an engine that can handle a lot, but the horsepower on this car is governed by the turbo, which is on paper good for 2,800.
And don't forget, this is one of Mark's first runs down the track in this incredible machine. With 9 cars in Mark's class, including several new to SantaPod, the competition will be very tight. I'll tell you one thing, folks, that this car is going to fly, and don't forget you can meet it at the traffic lights. Certainly a contender for the win this weekend, but this class is very open.
I don't know the opposition because there's 3 Polish cars in. Because I only race in Street Eliminator, I only actually look at those cars. So I'll have a wander around the pits today, have a look at the track, have a look at their start line, see what they're doing. Yeah, it's drag racing. You know, everything can happen on the start line. You can win and lose it. So it could be a tenth faster or a hundredth slower, and that's your margin.
But it's not only Turbo Technic's Pro Street which sees cars making their racing debut here at SantaPod. Back with the Pro Doorslammers.
Well, it's a Volvo Amazon 1966, which is heavily modified. It's a delivery, and this isn't the regular Volvo B18, so it's a Chevy big block with twin turbos. And well, I'm going to try it this week and see what it goes for. So this weekend, I think it's mostly testing for me, because I never driven it like more than 200 meters. And only for test. So I tested it on an airfield in Sweden, and just like 5 runs. So it's going to be fun.
Not a new car, but a new driver. It's John Tebenham with the fabulous Lightning McQueen Corvette.
Yeah, it's pretty good fun actually. Yeah, I mean, I had a 2-litre Cosworth probe, had 1,000 horsepower. And this thing's got 3,000 horsepower. So do a little bit careful with the throttle, but yeah, it's good. You hit the throttle and it's got 3,000 horsepower, 3rd gear, 250, 260 mile an hour burnout, and just go as far as you can until it starts to get a bit out of shape.
As a new driver, John has to make licensing passes to prove he's familiar with the car. That controlled burnout and this planned half pass should be enough to tick off those requirements. Looking more like the cars we drive on the street, this is the I-back front-wheel drive class. Small engines pushed to the absolute limit.
We have done 800 horsepower before on the dyno, but we haven't been back to a dyno for quite a while. We try to do most of it at the track on the data logging side. So around about the 800, I would think.
The European record holder in this class is Michael Honneman with 8.363 seconds, but they were breaking components all weekend. They couldn't get a full qualifying pass in, so no entry into the elimination draw for the King Minion. Bad luck also for top UK front-wheel drive racer Dan Frost, almost taking out the Christmas tree on this one. Instant disqualification. Dan didn't manage a full qualifying pass all weekend, so that's another of the favourites out. Arch rival to Michael Honneman in the record stakes, Wendell Brand, was having no such problems. Just look at that enthusiasm from the crew, and this was just a checkout pass.
I'm always confident because I think it's a game of survival of the fittest. It's not always the fastest car that wins. You know, you got to get to the end. There is some quick cars in the class this time, so obviously I'm a bit more up against it. I think last year I had a lot of luck with me, but we're here. The car's running well. We'll give it our best.
Teammate Gary Gooding will be wanting to take the crown from him this year.
Gary's always my rival with the Supra. It's a powerful car. I know how quick it can run. He's now on methanol as well, which has put even more power into the car. So I know he can run quick, and a lot quicker than me, but you know, there'll be a few head games going on tonight, I expect, in the pits.
And this is Team Extreme's Gary Gooding on his first test run of the weekend in the methanol-powered Supra. He's already run 7s on petrol, so he'll be looking to step things up. And this is maybe Mark's stiffest competitor, Paul Zubek with his stunning Nissan GTR.
You can take a stock Nissan GTR from roughly 550 horsepower stock all the way up to almost 2,000 horsepower with our packages and parts. This car goes a little beyond that. This car actually makes 2,500 wheel horsepower, so it's probably close to 2,700 horsepower at the crank. Paul's best time before in his previous setup was, I think, 8.3 seconds in the quarter mile. Today, just in initial testing, we had a little issue where the car was only rear-wheel drive, wasn't all-wheel drive, and it already went 7.9 seconds. In rear-wheel drive, it was quite a scary ride. I can't believe he didn't lift off the throttle, but he's kind of a cowboy in that sense. So we're really hoping to get the car down, if everything works right, down to low 7-second range, really low 7-second range.
And that will be stiff competition for Mark indeed. Such a cross-section of cars competing for the £80,000 prize money this weekend, but as Friday draws to a close, there's still a lot of cars that haven't put in qualifying runs yet. The weather forecast for Saturday was not good, so let's hope they get enough track time to get qualified before the evening draw for the first round matchups. And it did indeed rain for most of the day. The track didn't open for qualifying till 7 in the evening. It would now be a one-shot chance for those not yet qualified to get in the show. And first out was Errol Huell in his front-wheel drive Honda CRX. Great anticipation from the crowd. And then this happened. All seemed to be going well, but that's fluid spraying out, getting under the tyres, and sending Errol into a spin. Oh, and banged hard into the wall at the top end. Not what anyone wanted to see. Errol was fortunately unhurt. The same couldn't be said for his race car, though. The concrete wall here at SantaPod doing its job. Still a hard hit, though. After the clean-up, and it's the turn of Mark Biggers with his street-legal True Street Mustang. Unlike the Pro Streets, these still have original steel bodies and fittings with stock suspension and transmissions, but still indecently quick. And in True Street, some might say these are the epitome of road cars, the Lamborghini Huracan of Jürgen Wallons. Looks like a gentle launch, but then the power comes in. What will this stunning hypercar net on the quarter mile? James Wilday in the red lane getting a ringside seat for that 9.68 second run.
So this is a 2015 Lamborghini Huracan. Believe it or not, it's the quickest one in Europe. It's ran a 9.0, 162 miles an hour. It's got a standard engine, a set of GT35 turbos and a Cyvex X12 ECU. Obviously we did that all in-house, and the car, believe it or not, has actually been like that for 15,000 miles. The only issue we have is the shafts are very weak, so if we launch hard, the brake after 2 passes. So we've turned the launch down. We're going to aim for mid-9s, low 9s. Hopefully that's enough, and then go from there. 100% streetable, yeah. Road tyres. I drove here. It cost us 70 quid of fuel for 260 miles. And yeah, full weight. It's perfect. It's a 7-speed box. Literally, it does a... Obviously, we've got a draggy. It does a 100 to 200 in 3.3 seconds. So it's a very, very quick car.
I've got absolutely no chance against that car on a road surface. On the drag strip, different ball game. He's got a 4-wheel drive, I've got 2-wheel drive. No, I ain't got a chance on the road. But on the drag strip, this does 9.0, he does low 9s.
Back with the last chance qualifying, and it's the Pro Doorslammers. John Webster with the Mustang in the black lane, with Chris Orthodoxou with the Viper closest to us in the red lane. Neither car is qualified yet, but these passes put them in the show. Two more Pro Doorslammers not yet qualified. Paula Aitken with the Mustang, alongside Sweden's Marcus Perman in the Camaro. Not the quickest runs, but both now in the show. Finally, for the Pro Slammers, it's Chris Isaacs in the Duster and Bobby Wallace in the Willis closest to us. Again, both need this full pass to get into the draw. A great run for Chris, and they're both qualified. The variety of body shells in drag racing is amazing, and Simon Barlow's very rapid Fordson van, the Beast, is no exception.
It's more fun if you've got something that's a little bit skittish. I've drove them for years and years. I had the one before. I just love it. I just love it. It'd be too easy to get in a big long one. That'd be too simple. We've done quite a lot of changes through the winter period. We've put new computers on. We've had some new software, and we started using the trans brake, and it just seems the whole world's just erupted. Yeah, it's very confident, to be fair. Yes, very much so. It's something different. We've never done anything like this before. I think it's something more people should get involved in. We know we're not the quickest, but we was very consistent last weekend. Hopefully we will be again this weekend. You never know. Hopefully.
That early off-the-power 8.1 puts Simon in the field. Back to last chance qualifying now, with Francis Steve Durant nearest to the camera. A great pass putting him well into the huge front-wheel drive field. Jordan Keelan already qualified earlier in the day. That's front-wheel drive Lizetta de Koning left lane, but just watch the Audi from the 6-cylinder class. The chute pops out at the start, but he has to keep going to make that qualification pass. And he still runs through in 12.4 seconds. A couple of 4-cylinder VWs now. Danny Pike and Lil Lizzy, and Vito Versley all the way from Belgium closest to us. This event shares the site with Big Bang Camper and Bus Show, so these guys want to put on a good show for the fans. And how about a bit of diesel power?
Yeah, it's a Duramax diesel engine. It's compound turbo. So it's a V8 diesel engine, which is pretty unique when it comes to drag racing. The tractor pullers and stuff like that, I think, still doing a bit with them, but they're not particularly common. In America, on the other hand, in the States, they're very common. So there's a bit of a pool of information you can get over there. But no, I'm pleased, and it's going as fast as I wanted to go. And it seems to have been, touch wood, it's been a lot of fun, and that's what I did it for. We struggle with so much torque it makes. It makes over 2,000 foot-pounds of torque, which is great, but with no RPM. So we've got the tallest gears we can get in the back, and we've got an overdrive transmission, and we go through the line at 4,500 revs. Well, the engine will rev to 4,800. Over that, we believe the crankshaft will start causing problems. So we've got issues from that point of view. So the 170 miles an hour it sort of does sometimes. There's not a lot more in it without taking really big risks.
Back to qualifying late on Saturday night. Calvin Skerritt closest to us in the front-wheel drive car, and with four-wheel drive it's Marcin Blauth from Poland in the Camaro. He must be one of the favourites in Turbo Technics Pro Street. And at 8:56 p.m, just before the curfew, the last run of the day was not good for Carl Hartley in the front-wheel drive Astra. He's qualified, but will he be able to come racing tomorrow? A busy night ahead for the team. And that sets the fields in all the classes. So 3 hours later than scheduled due to today's 6 hours of rain, it's time for the draw. This will decide who's racing who in round 1 tomorrow. Usually decided by qualifying times, but in this street-style race, it's a random draw. Over to SantaPod CEO Keith Bartlett.
For me, pretty much what it's all about. There's going to be some strange faces, there's going to be some disappointed people, there's going to be some happy people with buys, but this is what makes the Doorslammers what it is. It's out of a hat. Doesn't matter how well you ran in qualifying, the moment of truth is right here, right now. You could have run the best run in the world, but you're going to draw out of a hat, and you might get the second best run in the world, and you'll go out in the first round. So this is what the Doorslammers is all about. So I think with no further ado, I'm going to hand over to Colin and Darryl, and we'll get the show on the road.
The first chip out is number 11, and that is Simon Barlow. Simon Barlow, you are in the black lane in the first pair. You will be going up against Freddie Fagerström. Oh, what a matchup that one is. Okay, your next pair then. Into the black lane, it is number 5, John Webster. So he's in the black lane, but who has he got for company? He has got number 2, Jan Eriksson. Oh, John goes to, oh dear. Well, that's a good pairing as well. That's not bad.
It's Sunday morning and the first round of pairings are set, so it's down to the start line. And here's John Webster with his race car. Nervous times for our teams, none of them are used to racing for this sort of money. VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer round 1 up first then, over to Daryl in the commentary booth.
Thanks for that, Bryn. So it's round 1, eliminations for VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer. Up first we've got Simon Barlow with the Beast up against Doorslammer royalty, Sir Fredrik Fagerström, all the way from Sweden after the horrible workshop fire over the winter. We didn't even know we were going to see him again this summer. However, with a lot of help from his friends and everybody else, here he is in round 1 at the Doorslammers. This is the race that Simon Barlow came for. Racing a full-on Pro Mod. However, it's Fred that takes the win with the 634 at 216. I think he hurt some parts and pieces on that one though. Simon Barlow bows out with an 803. Up next, John Webster taking on Jan Eriksson. John with the Mustang. Jan Eriksson seriously picking up the pace already in 2019. Well, they're pretty even going past 330. However, it's the blown car at the finish line. 593 takes out a 623 for John Webster, his quickest run ever. Another matchup you would not normally see. Reason being, these cars would normally race in different classes. However, Mickey Goldquist with the Primo gets a freebie. Unfortunately for Pell Norman, clicked it off before he went into stage. John Sleath gets the buy run with the Chevy Diesel Turbo. Yes, you heard that correctly. One of the great things about the Doorslammers is the mix of cars that you wouldn't normally get to see. John, new personal best, 824 at 169. He'll be in the draw for round 2. Two wildly different cars from very different parts of the earth as well. Bobby Wallace with the Nitrous Willis from just down the road in Bedford, taking on Andreas Arnover, all the way from Estonia. Basically the closest versus the furthest competitor we've got in Pro Doorslammer today. Andreas Arnover has been down in the 6.0s before, and it looks like he's going to be taking that one as well, on and off the throttle, but Bobby Wallace was out of it before the finish line. 678 in the black lane takes the win. Well, Marcus Perman on the far side was due to be racing Andy Wright Jr. with the hot rod. Andy's first ever race in competition. Not the cars, obviously. 901 gets him through to round 2. That's a draw for the next round pairings. Webster Race Engineering 4-cylinder. It's a 32-car ladder, and we caught up with last year's winner, Chris Todd.
To be honest, there's some very fast cars here. You know, I'm here to try. It's you know, that's why we all do it. We all want to win. Winning last year was a bit of a dream. To win this year would just be, I'm going to take my pants off and run around naked, I think. So you can hold me to that.
It's we're gambling, so I guess anyone has a chance. But we changed a lot of stuff on the car over the winter, including the rear suspension. We went to a four-link setup, which no one really does on a Volkswagen. Ultimately, it'll be better, but we don't know. It's a total guess as a starting point. So, and only getting 2 runs on Friday on a cold track didn't give us any real data. So, we've taken a gamble, and if it works, it'll be brilliant, and if it doesn't, it'll be rubbish.
Dave Crowhurst taking on Dave Reed first of all in the far lane. It's the Black Wanger. This is a very, very close race indeed, and it looks like Dave Reed with the Ford Fiesta is going to take it with the 10.19 at 141. Really good try for Dave Crowhurst though, 10.51. Up next, Adam Skinner with the Rats. That's the little tiny weeny Fiat. Shouldn't be going that fast, but it is. Up against Stu Taylor with the Impreza. That one was another fantastic race. Whole shot win for Adam Skinner. One of the most iconic cars here is the never forgotten Beetle of Clark Hilliard.
Yeah, so myself is ex-military. I served just under 11 years in the parachute regiment. The car was called Never Forgotten because it's a VW Gasser, and Gassers all have names, and what better name to represent something that means meaningful for myself. 456 is the total that the UK lost in Afghanistan, so that's the tribute to them. And we currently race and support the Paras charity fund. So any fundraising we do with t-shirt sales or just generally the car being at the track, it all goes back, and hence why the poppies were in the design. Yeah, so that's where the car design came from.
So is Clark against the Mark 1 Esper of Gino Bernardine? Well, it is. Clark with the big hole shot, nearly half a second, but unfortunately the car dies off the line. Gino runs on through with a 993 at 134. That car's still got a lot more in it as well. Shame that Clark bows out in round one. So we heard from him a little earlier, Chris Todd with Phoebe. Last year's winner. Taking on Jason Turnock, who's on the far side. Once again, heads up first to the finish line wins. A very slight hole shot on the far side of the racetrack, but Chris Todd gathers it back in. Takes the win light with a 10.17 at 136. Good try, though, from Ruby Blue in the other lane, 11.51. So we heard from Richie Webb as well. He's taking on Clive Fulcher. Richie with a very unique combination in there. That is a 7-second machine, that, would you believe? Never tends to go straight at all. And looks like he's still a bit all over the place at the finish line this time round, though. Takes the win with a 9.67. But gets a good try from Clive at 10.43. Then, in round two, Richie had possibly the most spectacular win of the event. Taken on Gino Bernardine. Well, Richie Ray from the line with not too many problems, then it all starts to go wrong. Something comes off the car and... oh, sorry, lost for words for a couple of moments there. Richie on two wheels through the finish line, 45 miles an hour, 11.61. However, he turns the win light on, which is always the most important thing. That was unbelievable. How did he manage to hang on to that? See this from the other angle at the finish line. It goes centerline wall. Really nice sideways slide towards the finish line. And Richie on board here. Fortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision, so you can work out that adrenaline's actually brown at about this point. Incredibly good save. Let's get a few words from some of our competitors in Pro Doorslammer.
Friday was some problem with transmission, but now everything's fixed and we're working with new setup. But it starts coming.
Yeah, we have some small oil pressure problem, so we hope we can figure it out. We must take it care, not so long burnouts.
We blew the tyres off this morning, so we found some extra power. We're now having to backtrack a bit on the tune-up to try and get it to stick, which is what we've done for this round. Hopefully we've got it somewhere near.
Round two of VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer. And we have one of our friends from Top Doorslammer up there in the Nordic countries on the far side. Mickey Nord driving Mats Bragg's beautiful Mustang, taking on Jimmy Alund, defending European champ in Pro Modified. These two would normally not race each other. Jimmy Alund goes red on the tree, gifts the win to Mickey Nord, and it's definitely his birthday. As he let the clutch out, the burst panel popped. He didn't even move off the start line, but because he got a green light, not a red one, he moves into round two. Andreas Arnover with the twin turbo small block, 6.0 small block. Yeah, you heard that right. Another one of the Top Doorslammers. He runs in comp in Scandinavia as well. Taking on Jan Eriksson. Yanni went 5.92 in round one. Problems for Andreas off the start line. None at all. Unbelievable run again. 5.89, his first ever trip into the 5.80s for Jan Eriksson. This is a rematch of a year ago. Legal Pro Mod on the far side with Mickey Gallquist taking on basically a spaceship on 4 wheels. That is Matthias Vulcan, owner of the quickest timing slip in Europe for a door car down in the 550s. That's his crew chief, Pelle Eriksson, closing the door. Now, if they both get down the racetrack, this could be one hell of a race, but Mickey G's got a new combination in there. As yet, hasn't quite got to grips with it. He's not going to get to grips with Matthias again. Another win for the Blackbird. 583 at only 215 miles an hour. John Sleath taking on Andreas Schudin on the far side of the racetrack with the blown big block Chevy. It is Andreas with the Chevelle, shoots out slightly before the finish line, goes 6.35 at 195. John Sleath, great to see him involved in Top the Doorslammer. He was always going to be outgunned, but we love people that try. Andy Wright Jr., far side against Chris Orthodoxou. Chris with the Viper on a Stormer. Look at that, his personal best by about half an hour, 6.22 at 220.
It's mental in there. Considering what I used to run mid-7s, now I'm in like almost down to 6 flats, you know, and everything happens so quick in the car. You're working all the time from the launch right until pulling the chute. You don't stop doing stuff in there. Plus you've got to steer and look where you're going. Look out for warning lights.
So the last pair for this round, Paul Aitken near side with the new turbo combination on the rear bead Mustang against Chris Isaacs. And it's Chris through to the next round.
Time for a quick look at the OCS Group Big Bracket with £10,000 on offer for the winner. Last year's winner, Colin Morris, hoping to repeat the win.
I'd love to repeat it, obviously, yeah, and we've got a brand new engine in the car because we blew our old one up 2 weeks ago, so we've had a mad thrash. So, you know, we want to get the car up and running today and have a good shot at it this weekend. So, yeah.
So 42 cars entered going into eliminations. But Colin lost in round 1 to Nick Williams with a breakout, going quicker than his dialed-in time. Dialed in an 8.71, but ran an 8.67. Some great close racing for the fans to enjoy in this ultra-competitive bracket race. And with yesterday's race rained out and the prize money rolling over, it's one heck of a payday. £10,000 in fact. Moving into the IBAC front-wheel drive class now, and a massive 49 cars entered for this one. That's 6 full rounds of racing for the winner to get through. We're looking at round 1 here, and one of the favourites, Alund Duthie, in the blue Corsa, taking on 8 second runner Steve Durant from France. And this race was a lot closer than Alan would have hoped for. Steve has it half track, but the Corsa powers through and takes the win by inches on the line. 9.42 beats a quicker 9.19, so Steve lost that one on the start line with a slower reaction time. What a finish. And in round 2, Alan faced Dutchman Gino de Jong. Gino gets the jump on Alan on the start line reactions, but can Alan catch him this time? Getting closer, but it's not enough. And at the stripe, Gino takes it with a 9.90, beating Alan's quicker 9.78. So one of the favourites is out of the competition. Another favourite here, Wendell Brand in the green Civic called the Hulk against Nick Gay's Black Dog Metro. Wendell's been developing the car for some time but hasn't raced it recently. This is looking very good indeed, keeping the power in. And it's a new European front-wheel drive record for them. 8.34 at 179 miles per hour. Your new class favourite, I think. And a lot of start line nerves on display. Ahmed Jamshid in the silver Civic launched before the green light. That's a red light for him then. Not surprising, a lot of drivers were gambling with the green light, considering the prize fund on offer here at SantaPod. Back in the pits, we caught up with the legend that is Wendell Brand.
Yeah, we actually knew the car could do it, but we're just trying to take it easy for the first few rounds. It's only been out once in like, what, 5 years? And that's obviously like our second run, so just happy that the car actually starts, runs. That's what counts at the minute.
You're obviously hoping to go faster.
Yeah, we've got some good support behind us. Obviously we've got Gordon, Street Races, and we've got Fueltech in America, which is the issue we're running now, Anderson, so we're quite happy.
Into round 3 of IBAC front-wheel drive, Nicolas Hacker from France with a Citroën AX in the left lane and Yoral Wells in the right lane. Nicolas sleeping on the line. Has he got the power to make up that lost time? It's a real neck-and-neck drag race here, and Nicolas takes the win. European record holder Wendell now against Michael Clark in the red Fiesta. Slow start for Wendell. Did he miss a gear shift there? The power of that Civic starts to tell now as he powers up the track, but will he do it? No! 2 car lengths short, he's out. Michael's 986 beats the record holder's 983.
Time to take a look at the highlights from our other heads-up classes. And first up is Turbo Technics Pro Street. Joe Stevens with a little Sunbeam Stiletto, normally runs in Street Eliminator, has been down into the 7s with that thing. I can't imagine when that was built, anyone ever imagined it would go that quick, even if it was dropped off a cliff. Up against Martin Blauth from Poland with the incredible 4-wheel drive Camaro. Looks like Joe's got this one, and he has indeed. 8.11 at 175 takes out Martin's 8.15 at 179. Andy Bonds against Chris Goodale. Well, this looks like a pretty even race up to 330. However, the twin turbo engine in that incredible Chevy takes it at the finish line. 196 through the traps for him. Dave Mace with a Nothing But Trouble Cresta against Dave Mahoney with the Outlaw Street Camaro. 2 really good, tough-looking race cars that we don't normally see in mainstream drag racing. What the Doorslammers is all about, really mixing it up. Bumping into stage with the turbo. Great launch for Dave Mahoney. And a big old hole shot as well. However, at the top end, it is Dave Mace with an 8.54 at 164. So, Paul Zubek in his stunning GTR came out in the 6-cylinder class on a buy run, but unfortunately broke after this run. This was the car that turned so many heads here at SantaPod, and it was great to see him running here at the Doorslammers. Absolutely mental car that was. Unbelievable. We caught up with these two earlier in the programme. How will they get on in the True Street semi-finals? Jürgen Wallens against Mark Biggers. Jürgen with the amazing Lamborghini. So cool to see a Lambo racing against a Mustang. Well, off the line. There's not a lot in it, to be honest with you. It is Mark Biggers with the Mustang off into the distance. Jürgen, though, really pouring on the coals at the top end. Doesn't quite make it, but still fantastic to see. 8.99, Mark Biggers moves to the next round. So, on to the Turbo Technics Pro Street semi-finals. We saw Joe Stevens earlier on. Can he be Giant Killer once again? Up against Mark Todd with the incredible new Aston Martin. Mark Todd goes red. It's Joe Stevens moving on through once again. This time 8.07 at 176. Terrific stuff. So this was at 7:45 in the evening. An hour and a quarter to the curfew. We really are coming down to, well, the nervous part of the Doorslammers weekend and trying to get it all done before the sun sets, and we have to pack up for the day as well. Andy Bond taking on Dave Mace. Andy with that terrific top-end charge in the previous round. Dave Mace is really going to have to pull one out here. Off the start line, there's not much in it, but the twin-turbo big block in that Chevy is immense. 768, 201. Dave Mace, though, great try at 8.07 and over 200 miles an hour for Andy Bond. Outstanding. Annoyingly, though, we have spots of rain as we wait for round 3 of VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer.
Our main thing is right now to try to win the tournament and not go the fastest. We will try that maybe next weekend if everything comes together.
Well, Matthias with his racing head well and truly on there. He's going for the money, make no doubt about it. Take it on Jan Eriksson. 2 very evenly matched cars, actually, both in the 5s. It's Jan Eriksson out in front, almost at half track. at the finish line, though. Matthias 577 at 254. Really good try from Jan Eriksson. He was 00 on the tree off the start line as well. So Chris Isaacs with Dusty the Duster taking on Andreas Houdin. Way fast Chevy Chevelle. This could be a really good one. Slight hole shot off the line for Chris Isaacs, however. The blown big block Chevy on the near side for Andreas with a new PB at 617.
It's the first time since 2011 at least, and then in 2011 I only made one 6-second pass. It was 681. Well, my dad told me Friday you will let off after the 8 mile, and I held down to 666 and made a 656. So I could hear my dad in the helmet like, no way.
VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer semi-finals. Well, problems in this race for Chris Orthodoxou. He won't be in the final. However, the losing driver gets $2,000, so at least he gets that for his troubles. Mickey Nord just having the luckiest day ever. He's in the final after Jimmy Orland went red earlier today as well. But so we know one of our finalists. Who's going to be the other one? Matthias Vulcan against the world's fastest wizard, Andreas Houdin, in that awesome Chevelle. He's looking to go into the 5s. He wants to, before he goes back to Sweden, be the quickest and fastest standard bore big block Chevy with standard heads. However, right now his focus is on beating Matthias Vulcan, who ain't in the mood to be beaten. Shoots out before the finish line, still goes 5.95. So all the final rounds coming up. Turbo Technics Pro Street Final up first. We're getting very close to the curfew, as you can tell by the fact it's dark. Andy Bonds, fresh off that wonderful 201 mile an hour run in the semi-finals, up against the giant killer extraordinaire. Joe Stevens with that fabulous twin turbocharged Sunbeam Stiletto. Andy Bond with the twin turbo engine in the Chevy. He does have a horsepower advantage, but that didn't stop Joe winning the Street Eliminator Series last year. Let's see who's going to come out on top. Andy Bond gets away well. He's already got half a car by the time they go past the Christmas tree. That's very close at the finish line, though. 7.66, another fabulous 202 mile an hour run. Andy Bond is your winner. Real good try from Joe Stevens, though. 8.04, 175. For winning that, he gets £2,500. So, IBAC front wheel drive final. The winner in this class gets £3,500. Loser, £2,000. Calvin Skerritt, Nicholas Hackier. Nicholas with the huge wheelie bars out the back of the Citroën AX, something you never thought you'd see drag racing. Well, it looks like Nicholas has got the jump off the start line. He's got a couple of car lengths. Can Calvin Skerritt run him down? The answer is no. 10.36 and £3,500 going back to France on a hole shot. So the 6-cylinder final. Gary Gooding up against Mark Mosley. That's Mark doing the tyre warmer in the near lane. Really good to see Gary Gooding out again. This car was normally in the bin for a while in Street Eliminator. Wheelie bars poking out the back. This will be for £2,000, this race. Well, unfortunately, Mark Mosley didn't even get to take a green light, though. Gary Gooding streaks on through with a 789 at 169 miles an hour. As you can tell, the crew aren't overly unhappy about it. Commiserations to Mark Mosley, though. Great effort getting to the final. So, VP Racing Fuels Pro Doorslammer final. Matthias Vulcan taking on Mickey Nord. Mickey Nord's had more than 9 lives today with the Mustang. So good to see him back here at SantaPod. He's been here before running in Pro Modified. First time Matt Sprague and the whole team have been over, though, from Scandinavia with a beautiful, beautiful car. Can they do it one more time and take out Matthias Vulcan? He's been on an absolute flyer all day, all weekend, and it's 10 grand to the winner of this race. 4,000 for the runner-up. No, it looks like Mickey Nord's got problems. I think that was Matt Sprague just telling him to click it off. Yep, unfortunately he's being pushed away. They still get £4,000 for their troubles, and Matthias Vulcan will take the big trophy and £10,000 here at the Doorslammers. Well, he goes for it anyway to a roundabout half track. No need to stress out any engine components. 704. Great effort from the whole Blackbird team, though. They ran quicker last year. However, I think they prefer the winner's trophy this time round, and the money obviously doesn't hurt either. Getting congratulated from SantaPod CEO Keith Bartlett as we move on to Webster Race Engineering 4-cylinder final. The winner gets 3.5. Loser 2. Darren Scannell taking on Kev Jenkins. So good to see Kev back racing with the Blue Escort. The Fraudster on the near side. It's called Fraudster because it doesn't have a Ford engine in it. I'm not going to give away any more than that. Well, Darren with problems off the start line. These two have outlasted the 32-car field to get down to this race. And it will be Kev Jenkins with an 876 at 150 miles an hour, doing it in style. So the OCS Group Big Bracket Final. Now, because of the fact that we got rained out on Saturday, we didn't get to run anything at all. This has been rolled over. So is the prize money. £10,000 goes to the winner, possibly one of the richest bracket races anywhere on the planet. Nick Williams, far side. Lee Huxley in the near lane. Who's going to get the win light and be richer? It is Nick. What a race. 978 on a 977. They're almost dead even off the tree as well. Okay, your True Street final. Gary Carr taking on Mark Biggers. Well, they're both on and off the throttle. Mark Biggers on the near side in the last race of the Doorslammers, and it will be him at 9:09 at 1:57. Bit of a miscue off the start line for both of them, but he is £2,500 better off after that race. And in the end, even the British weather couldn't stop this event from going from strength to strength.
Can we just give it all, really, please, for the Matthias Falcon and the whole Blackbird team.
Sponsored by VP Racing Fuels, £10,000 to Matthias Falcon.
And it's only going to get bigger and better, folks. So we'll see you again in 2020 back here at SantaPod.